Okay, so today we are going to be sorry about that. That was my sister in the background trying to freeze the house with the refrigerator
Bread?
because she wanted cheesy bread.
No, I want food. I don't like cheesy bread, but I found bread.
She's also picky with food, but I love her. All right, so today we are going to do the calories 10 exercises. And so keep in mind that if I stop on question 8, I apologize. Hopefully I can get through all of these. So I don't think I'm able to put in. Okay, so right here, I'm going to erase this now because I don't think any of us really need it. Give me a moment. Erasing. There you go. So that was me erasing things. So I can write this for you. And I'm going to write it in red, obviously, because amazing color, absolutely amazing, is the exercise formula. The exercise formula, okay? Also, I apologize for how slow this is. I deeply apologize. So that formula is calories burned is equal to weight times minute times scale factor. All right. So that is the formula. Calories burned equals weight times minute times scale factor, right? So these aren't going to be the exact ones for scale factor, but I will put in what they are. Let me get those scale factors for you because I do have them. Quite handy. So here is the scale factors. I apologize for how weird this looks. So there are the scale factors. So the activities would be like the ballroom dancing, the grocery shopping, the walking, the weightlifting, the bicycling, the aerobic dancing, so on, so on. And then the numbers are the calories per pound per minute, right? Okay, so let's work on this question, shall we? This lovely question here, right? So Liam weighs 165 pounds. So 165 pounds. Swims for 45 minutes. So swimming is right there. So we have swimming. Swims for 45 minutes and 165 pounds, right? And keep in mind that our exercise formula is still weight times minute times scale factor. So it would be 165 times 45 times our scale factor, which is 0.070. Okay, so let's see here. So those all mixed together would equal up to 519.75. Now, typically, personally, I would scale it up, and I think on the homework sheet for the actual answers, it has you scale up as well. I can't fully remember, it's been a while. So, but I would scale up, so you would either get that as your answer, or you would get this, and this is the rounded up one, which is 520 calories. Burned. There you go. So I want to say that it's the 125 calories. Sorry, the 520 calories. I apologize if sometimes I don't make any sense when I'm explaining things or I'm reading what I'm writing down. If there's some differences in what I'm saying when I'm writing, if I'm just not making any sense. I am dyslexic, both mathematically and in general, so I apologize. Just bear with me. So I would say that the answer would be 520 calories burned. Actually, I'm gonna look at this real quick to double check that that would indeed be the right answer. And I mean, you guys can only see what's on my Jamboard. Apologies for that. So yeah, it does not, the actual multiple choice sheet for the calories 10 exercises does not have any decimal points for question 1. All right, so you would be rounding it up to 520. Let's move on to question 2. All right, so let's hear question 2. 1 serving of oatmeal has 3 grams of fat, 31 grams of carbohydrates, including 1 gram from sugar, and 6 grams of protein. Change the calories of these amounts of fat, carbohydrate, sugar, and protein. So for that, we are going to use a completely different thing. For that, we would want to use the calories in grams. So let me bring that into here for you. Right there. And then also the formula for that would also be different. So let me get you that formula. So actually, I don't think I have a formula for that. But I think if I were to do a formula, that formula would most likely be number of grams times the calories per gram. So that would be my formula for that. So let's go back to our pretty blue. So it says that there's 3 grams of fat, 31 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram from sugar, 6 grams from protein, right? So I would say to write it out like this. Fat, carb, sugar, protein. Right? Do it like that. So for fat, you have 3 grams. So times that by 9 calories. And you would get your answer. With carbs, it says 31 grams. So you times that by 4. For your sugar, it would also be by 4. So 1 gram times 4 calories. Okay. And then protein, it says there's 6 grams of protein. So 6g times 4 cal. Little equal signs. So 3 times 9 would be, I want to say 24. Give me just a moment to double check on that. Sorry, 27. That'd be 27. 27 calories. 31 times 4 would be 124 calories. 1 times 4 would be 4. And I'm going to draw a little arrow because those 4 calories of sugar are incorporated in the total amount of carb sugars that there are, right? And then 6 times 4 would be 24. So those are your answers right there. So in other words, you would have, going back to red because red is awesome, 27 calories of fat, 124 calories of carbs, plus the 4 calories of sugar. Sorry, that would not be plus, that would be including. And then the 24 calories of protein. So those will be your answers for number 2, right? So let's move on to question 3. Question 3. Caroline is an 80-year-old woman, not physically active, who weighs 120 pounds and is 5'3" tall. She walks for 15 minutes to the grocery store, shops for 20 minutes, and walks 15 minutes home. How many calories does she burn? All right, so this is a bit of a trickier one. So here are the main elements that you need to know. Then I'll do a yellow highlighter for this for you guys. So what you need to know is how much she weighs, which says 120 pounds. She walks for 15 minutes, shops for 20 minutes in the grocery store, and then walks another 15 minutes. They want to know how many calories she burned. Okay? So we're back to the original formula of, let me put it over here in this corner down here for you guys, which is equal, calories burned is equal to weight times minute times scale factor, right? I just kind of simplified it. So let's do this. Walking is, so there's walking and then grocery shopping. So we're going to come back here to the original one that I had where I had posted the, not that far back, but that was the formula, to here, where we are looking at the walking and the grocery shopping. Okay? So let's go back to where we were on question 3, right? So the walking scale is going to be 0.037, right? And then the grocery shopping is going to be 0.028. I know it might be a little hard to see over here in the corner. I apologize. So let's get to this question, right? So walking is equal to, it says that she walked for 15 minutes to get there. So that's 15. And then she walked for another 15 minutes to get home. So you would add the two 15 minutes together. So 15 plus 15 is equal to 30 minutes total. And then she shops, and that's equal to 20 minutes total. All right. So how we're going to do this, let me switch colors here. Back to my pretty blue. Not for any particular reason other than the fact that I really like it. So let's start with the walking. Okay? So if we're following the calories burned formula, it would be the weight. So she weighs 120. We're timesing it by the number of minutes, which we learned for walking is 30, times the scale factor, right? So we have previously illustrated that the scale factor is over here as 0.037. Right? Also, if you're curious how I'm writing the way that I am, even though my mouse is sitting right here, it's because I have the same board up on my tablet and I'm writing things down on my tablet since I don't do very well with writing things out with the mouse. So that's why. That's also why there's that little delay. I apologize. So if you multiply all of those together, you should come up with about 133, but let's try to be specific here. So 120 times 30 times 0.037. That would give you 133.2. And if you round it, which, double checking the answer sheet here, you would want to do, yes, you definitely want to add up that one. So for sure, there are no decimals on the answers provided on that list. So you want to round it up to the nearest whole number. So that would be 133. Okay. So let's now go with shopping. Great. So again, the basic formula, she's 120 pounds. Says she was shopping for 20 minutes. And the scale factor for grocery shopping is 0.028. Okay? If we multiply all of those together, we will get 120 times 20 times 0.028. That is 67.2. So if you round up, which you are going to want to do, it would just be 67. Now, here's the interesting part what I found interesting. To get the total number of calories that she burned, you want to add the number that you got for the walking with the number you got for the shopping. So you would get 133 plus 67, which is going to equal 200. Calories burned. Right? Just double checking my work. 133 plus 67. Yep, it equals 200. So that would be your answer. Right there, 200 calories burned. All right, so let's move over to question 4. Sorry if I'm going a little fast for any of you guys. It's just kind of how my brain is wanting to work. All right, so this is one that I had a little difficulty on. I had a little difficulty with a few of these, like number 3, I had a little bit of difficulty with when I first looked over it. I had to ask the teacher for help with it. Same with number 4, and I want to say a lot of these actually I had to ask for help. But now that I'm looking over all of them, I do actually understand how I got the answers and all of that. If my explanations here don't make any sense, I do highly recommend going and seeing what the teacher did on both his YouTube channel and his Jamboard, which are easily accessed through the class syllabus. Yeah. So here we have question 4. When Caroline walks, 60% of the calories she burns are fat calories because of her age and other factors. How many fat calories did she burn from her 30 minutes of walking to and from the grocery store? So right off the bat, we can kind of see what they're asking. They said 60% of her calories burned are fat calories. So 60% is a key number there. And then they want to know how many fat calories she burned from her 30 minutes of walking, right? So at this point, you would be asking, what her total calories burn. So what you want is total calories. So you can see how bad that is. I apologize. I will erase that here in a moment. I'm not sure why I decided to do that with my mouse, but I did. My bad. I apologize. That was horrendous. You want your total calories for walking, which was 133, right? So the question would be, I'm going to use black this time. Whoa, I know, right? Something other than red, blue, green, or yellow, right? So we want to ask the question, if I can figure out how to spell, what is 60% of 133, right? That is essentially what we're asking. So how you would do that is y, and yes, I'm aware that my y looks like a G. It's not supposed to. It is a y. So y equals 0.60. If you do that, it's called the Riplop, right? It's one of the easiest ways to turn a percent into a decimal and a decimal into a percent. That's what I found. So 0.60 times 133. So if we do it that way, then y equals 79.80. Now, again, you don't want to have that decimal point. So you want to round it up. And so this would be the number you'd be looking at to round it up, right? So that would be y equals, so I'm going to do that, 80 fat cal burned. And that will be your answer, 80 fat calories burned in total. So yeah, it's asking the percentage of what you're looking for the calories that are being burned, which in this case would be 60% of the calories. Burned is fat calories, and they're wanting to know how many fat calories are burned, right? So you would multiply that percentage that you turned into a decimal to the total amount of calories burned. And then whatever your answer be from the percentage times the total number is your answer. So 80 fat calories were burned out of her total 133 calories burned from walking. So here we have question 5. We're just breezing through this now, aren't we? So let's hear. Question 5. 1 cup serving of 2% low-fat milk has 5 grams of fat, 12 grams of carbohydrates, all 12 from sugar, and 9 grams of protein. Throughout the day, Caroline drinks 3 cups of 2% milk. How many calories of fat is this? So for this, it's very similar to the previous question, which was question 2. So pretty much the same method. So they're asking for the total calories of fat, right? And it says here that milk has 5 grams of fat per 1 cup serving, but she drinks 3 cups. So what you want to do is, and this is what I did, is I took the 5 grams and I multiplied that by 3, which equals 15 grams, right? So you have 15 grams of fat. 15 grams of fat, which you are then going to multiply times 9, which is the number of calories per gram for fat, right? Which we saw in question 2. So let's quickly go back to question 2 to double check that I'm right. You can see what we have here. Right here. So if we come back to question 2, we will notice that fat has 9 calories per gram. Okay? So now that we know for sure that that is the case, we can come back and continue with our multiplication. So you're essentially going 15 times 9 equals And the answer to that is 135. Okay? And that's just going to be your answer. So it's 135 total fat calories. There you go. Right there. Clear as day. So that's how question 5 is done. So let's move on to question 6. All right. Now this is where I found it to be a little more tricky. Here, let me take this and enlarge it just a bit for you. And to make it easier for me to actually read. So let's see. Number 6. Caroline's DCI is 90% of the USDA expectation of 2,000 calories per day. So her recommended daily fat intake is 65 grams for a 2,000 calorie diet times 0.9 is about 59 grams of fat per day. What percentage of her recommended daily fat intake are these 3 cups of low-fat milk? This was another one that I had to get help with because I didn't quite understand what it was asking. But now I do because the teacher explained it in such a wonderful way. And I thank you so much, David, which I'm pretty sure you're watching this. Thank you. So what we're being asked is the 3 cups of low-fat milk, right? I'm tired of saying black, so I'm going back to red. Leave it to me to do that. So 3 cups milk, right? And there's 5 grams each. Five grams each. So that would equal to 15 grams total because you're wanting to times those. So if we then take 15 divided by 59, you get 0.25. Now, when you're doing the Riplop, which we're about to do, I only want to do, I don't want a decimal point as it, which is what would happen if you started from back here, because you want to go over 2 places, which would then equal up to 2.54%, which, no, that is not what you want. So we're going to start here. So 1, 2. I did that wrong. Either way, you don't want this one. You don't want a decimal point as your answer, right? So let me just rewrite that all together. 0.254. I'm going to start where that decimal point is and go over RIPLOP. So RIPLOP stands for this. Right in percent. I don't feel like writing out the word percent. Left out percent. That's essentially what it means. So you go right to turn a decimal into a percentage. You go left to turn a percentage into a decimal. Okay? So you would end up with 25%. There you go. That is going to be your answer for number 6, because you're taking the 3 cups of milk and you're timesing it by the number of grams of fat in each single cup serving. So if there's 5 grams in each single cup serving, but you have 3 servings, that would equal up to 15 total grams of fat. And then you take that 15 total grams of fat, you want to divide it by your amount that you can have per day, right? And this is called the percentage of whole formula. So let me write that down here for you, okay? So percent of whole. So you want your percent to be equal to part divided by whole, right? So here, this 15 would be your part, and the 59 would be your whole. Here. There you go. Your part. There you go. So your part is 15 and your whole would be 59. So obviously you want to divide the two together to get your percent. So, I mean, in theory, I could have not put down, here, give me just a moment. I could just completely eradicate that 4, technically, because it has no part to play in this entire thing, because you just wanted that 25, so you can get 25%. So let's move on to question 7. Right? Okay, sorry. To you guys, it probably didn't seem like there was any stop whatsoever, but I did go and get something to drink, because talking a lot is a bit, yeah, I can't think of the right word to say. But yeah, I needed something to drink, so I went and got something to drink. Pause this. So now I'm back. So, yay. We're now going to have a green highlighter. Woo! Highlighters! All right, number 7. Zachary is a 35-year-old man, moderately active, who weighs 150 pounds, is 5 foot 7 inches tall. He bikes for 15 minutes to the gym, lifts weights for 30 minutes, and then bikes 15 minutes home. How many calories does he burn? So this is going to be very, very similar to our previous question, which was number 3 with Caroline. So memory serves. Let me look at my notes real quick. So yeah, it seems like it's just following the same thing that we did for Caroline, but for Zachary, right? So first off, we don't need to know how old he is. We don't need to know how active he is or how tall he is. What we do need to know is how much he weighs, that he bikes 15 minutes, lifts weights for 30 minutes, and then bikes for another 15 minutes, right? So over here in this corner, I am going to add in our little thing that we need to know, right? So cal burn equal weight times minute times scale factor. Our scale factors this time is for biking and weightlifting. All right. And so our scale factors for those two, let's go and take a look. It was on question 3. We're quite a ways into this. Was it question 3 or was it question 2? No, it was question 3. So our scale factors would be over on question 1. So let's quickly go over to that to look at our scale factors, right? And go from there. So if we look at it from here, we will see that our bicycling would be 0.045. Our weightlifting is 0.039. All right. So let's go back to our page. Here we are. Keep in mind that the pages do not correspond with what number problem we're on. It's going to be one off, which is why there's 11 slides, but only 10 questions. So our scale factor for biking is going to be 0.045, right? For the weightlifting, it's going to be 0.039. Yes. Okay, so those are our skill factors in this nice little box, right? Because I did that in red, I'm going to switch to, let's do yellow. Let's do yellow this time. Okay. So what we're going to do it the same way we did Caroline. So biking, 15 minutes plus 15 minutes equals 30. Weightlifting, 30. So biking, right here would be, so he's 150 pounds, so 150 times, he went biking for a total of 30 minutes, so 30 times scale factor, which is right here, so times 0.045, which is going to equal 202.5, which if you scale it up, what you really do want to do is going to be 203. Okay? So biking, he burned 203 calories. And with weightlifting, right? He's 150 pounds. He did so for 30 minutes. Very similar to the first one. The difference here is going to be the scale factor. And that's 0.039, right? So that is going to give us the answer of 175.5, which if you scale that up is going to be 176. Now, if you don't know how the scaling up and scaling down works, let me put it this way. So the up arrow is scaling up. And the down arrow is scaling down. So say you have 35.3. You want to look at this number here, right? In this sense, you'd want to look there and you would want to scale down. So 4 and below, scale down. However, if you have like 35.5, so if you're scaling down, and your previous number is 35.3, that scaling down would just be 35. It would stay the same. However, if you have something like 35.5, you're looking at that 0.5, right? So that's going to equal 36. That's 5 and up. You want to scale up. Okay? So when you scale down, the number is going to stay the same. So because we're scaling up, because 202.5, that number is a 5 that we're looking at, the 0.5. So you're going to scale up to 203. Same with 175.5. Scaling that up, you would go to 176 because it's a 5. Now we want to add the two of those together, right? So 203 plus 176, that's going to equal 379. So that's your answer, 379 calories, right? Let me double check my math real quick. Yes, 379 is the answer for 203 and 176 being added together. So your answer would be 379. Okay? Does that make sense so far? All right. So let's move on to question 8. Now, I may or may not end it here, just because I wasn't thinking of going past 8 questions. But I'm having a lot of fun with this, so I might just go for all 10 of them and explain that to you guys. I mean, why not? I'm enjoying myself. Hopefully, I'm making some form of sense to you guys. I know I'm not the world's best explainer, but I'm doing the best I can. So let's move on to this one. All right, number 8. 138-gram serving of dark chocolate has 15 grams of fat, 19 grams of carbohydrates, 10 from sugar. Interesting, I would think that chocolate would have all of it be sugar, but apparently not. Apparently there's some other goody carbohydrates hidden within dark chocolate that I didn't know about. Makes me want to go and see what it all is in dark chocolate, but besides the point, continue reading. And 3 grams of protein. Good to know there's only 3 grams of protein in 138-gram serving of dark chocolate. It's good to know. Not sure how accurate these numbers are, but yeah. Throughout the day, Zachary eats 4 servings of dark chocolate. How many calories of sugar is this? Okay, so they're wanting to know the number of sugar. All right, so let's highlight what's important. So 138-gram serving of dark chocolate, 4 servings, calories of sugar. So let me highlight the number of calories from sugar. Okay, so for this, we want to take that 1 serving of 10 grams and we want to multiply it by 4, right? Because he's had 4 servings. So that would equal up to 40 grams, right? Now you take that 40 grams, times it by 4 calories, and you end up with a grand total of 160 calories, right? Yes. So double check. 40 times 4 should be 160. Yes, it is. If you guys have calculators with you and you've been going through checking my work, awesome. You guys are 1 step ahead of me at that point, so congratulations. You're doing amazing. So yeah, the answer to number 8 is 160 calories of sugar. Let me add up in there. There you go. 160 calories of sugar. You know what? Let's just do the last 2 problems here. Just for the hell of it. Okay? So let's see here. Number 9. Zachary's DCI is very close to the USDA variation of 2,500 calories per day. He can simply use its recommendation of no more than 63 grams sugar per day. What percentage of his recommended daily sugar intake are those 4 servings of dark chocolate? Okay, so our whole would be the 63 grams. They want to know what percentage are the 4 servings of dark chocolate, right? So clearly I'm going to write in this little corner over here what our formula was. Let me grab that real quick. So it was the percentage of a whole. There you go. Which is percent equals part divided by whole, right? So this is going to be our whole. The 63 grams is our whole. All right. And for very obvious reasons. I went over this in our question with Caroline, right? So, like Caroline, we're going to take our amount of sugar from the dark chocolate, which was 10 grams. We're going to times that by 4, and that's going to give us 40. 40 grams of sugar. Now this is going to be our part. All right. So let's see here. That would leave us with 40 divided by 63. That would equal out to be 0.634, right? Let's double check with our calculators. 40 divided by 63. Yes, 0.6349206.349 is the complete thing. So just for the fact that I find it hilarious, I'm going to write that whole thing out. Now, granted, you don't want to use that entire large number. So you just really want that 0.63. So just draw a line through there. And we want to go with the replop because it asked for the percentage, right? Toot. Replop, which again, which is again right in percent, left out percent. Yay. So that would give you a total of 63%. There you are. There's your answer of 63%. All right. So that was question 9. So here's our final question of our 10 exercises for calories. Question 10. Write a formula that outputs the total calories in a food if you plug in the grams of fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Okay? So this is something that I didn't put before when we were doing that for the other questions that contained this. However, this is what it's going to be. Hold on, let me write this a bit neater for you guys. Right? You guys deserve that much at least. Calories equals, I'm going to put a parenthesis, fat gram times 9 plus another parentheses here, just to make it fair. Technically, you're supposed to put parentheses when you have multiplication and you're adding the different multiplications together, but whatever. Carb, I'm going to put a little dot there because I don't want to write out carbohydrates, because I'm going to run out of room real quick if I do that. Carb grams times 4 plus protein grams times 4. There you go. That is your answer. Just right there. Let me put this in a nice little box for you. There you go. There's your nice little box. So that would be the answer. Calories equals fat gram times 9 plus carb grams plus 4 plus protein grams times 4. That is literally the entire answer for number 10, because it was asking for the formula. So there's your formula. There you are. Right there. So that concludes our entire video on explaining the 10 exercises of calories. Thank you for joining me in this lovely video of literally just watching the